don't even know what to say. It's finally hit me. I finally reached the breaking point. I'm so angry. I'm livid. I'm so angry. I can't even function today because I reached the breaking point with Trump. I have sincerely and honestly felt compassion, had understanding about this man. But after last night's tweet storm, and now the fact that he's apparently COVID free, feeling great, everything's normal, like everything, this guy, no matter what he fucking does, and excuse me, this video probably will contain even more curse words. I am so livid. All of a sudden, I've had enough. Like now the anger has hit me. All the shit that he does, and he comes up smelling like roses. It just boggles my mind. I can't understand it. I can't understand it with my ego mind, that's for sure. But underneath all that, I had an aha and an epiphany that there's actually a kind of a spiritual lesson in all of this. And I have so many thoughts racing through me that I'm going to jump around. So sorry. So this whole thing about someone who is so what the I Ching always talks about, and yes, I'm going to get to an oracle session. It just hang on with me for a little bit. I'm just, going back to this, going back to being so angry, like I broke with all these tweets about, don't let COVID take over your life. I'm immune, all this arrogance and lack of empathy. I don't care if COVID was a hoax. People have died. Something happened to them, okay? And something apparently happened to you that, the doctor said you had COVID and you're acting, even if it's pretend. Your tweets and your behavior, Mr. Trump, are, I don't have the word for it, so inhumane. I can't take it anymore. And then to have you apparently bounce back and be on top of the world and feeling 20 years younger, and just doing things like a crazy man. But apparently, doctor says you're perfectly healthy now. I can't fucking believe it. I'm livid that there appears to be no real justice in this world for people like Trump. Like, where's the karma? Here's what I know. This is what came to me. Someone like Trump, who is, let's say, living off the grid of the harmonic universe. He's so unconscious and asleep. There's not a spiritual cell in his body. Well, maybe just one cell. That he is living 100% by the collective ego and by the ego. And the I Ching talks about that almost all illnesses and fates, karmic fates, happen because when we take an action, we either, we're supposed to feel a little bit of remorse, but when we enter into guilt and then we don't like ourselves, we start beating ourselves up and we self-doubt and all those kind of lower energies about the self, feeling guilty. Oh, I did that. I stepped on a bug. I feel horrible. And then you beat yourself up for days. It's actually that energy that creates a fate. So you get someone like Trump, or even psychopaths or sociopaths or narcissists. I don't know the right terms. And they go along doing their shit for most people that's completely out of the heart zone of life, running over people, saying stuff. But you know what? They don't think it's wrong. They don't believe it's wrong. They have no guilt, no remorse. They feel it's right. So I mean, I don't know if this is right, but this is what struck me, is that they just don't accrue a lot of kind of like uh, fates. I mean, they do sort of, but they're so living in the ego world. I don't know if I don't know if this is true. This is kind of what it feels like true, that if you don't have remorse or guilt or um, beat yourself up and all that sort of stuff, then and you're so unconscious, living totally in the ego realm, you suffer very little uh, spiritual fate. Okay, because there's no way um, spiritual essence or his guides or whatever are going to come along and try and uh, um, make him learn a lesson. It just isn't going to work. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's the only way my little tiny lower mind can even justify what I'm seeing. But I know his days are numbered, and that his fate and his karma will be soon. And it will be on the other side, perhaps in his next life. What I got intuitively is we probably will not see human justice come for Trump in this lifetime because of all the other stuff, Kali Yuga ending, and all the revolutionary stuff that's going to happen. What I see is there's just not going to be a justice system to bring him to trial or something. And I don't know if he'll survive. Okay. So I'm all over the place and I'm telling you things ahead of time, but I'm just livid. I mean, I want to use some very strong choice words that have an M and an F attached to them. This is how I've been so angry all day, because I look at all the people on the spiritual journey. They're waking up, and so they have a lot of consciousness. Okay, they're awakening, and they're beginning to see, oh, I need to live in harmony with life. I need to be kind to people. I need to do things that benefit the all. And it's like, when we screw up, first of all, the guilt that we have on ourselves, that in itself causes all kinds of shit. It's all of our guilt and our self-criticism for not being perfect. That's what creates most of the fate. But it's like we're also learning our spiritual lessons, and it's like wham, we get karma right away when we do something off. And that just burns me. It's like, I'm over here, I can't say and do anything that's just slightly out of alignment without like lightning bolt coming down on me. Of course, it's my own guilt, right? But I'm conscious enough to know, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I was such a bitch. And this guy, this MFer, nothing happens to him. Okay. Oh, okay, let's move on. I'm sure you didn't want to hear that, but for once, I'm beginning to just talk about the things that I really want to talk about. I'm so angry. And I'm not very good at verbalizing what I'm feeling on the inside. I can't find the words while I'm sitting here staring at myself in the video, but I'm done having compassion and understanding. I'm ready. This guy needs to be taken out. And I think he will be. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like a just universe at the moment. So I'm a little bit down on the cosmos. What else did I wanted to tell you before now look, his medical team, this Dr. Connolly, as soon as I look at him, I get a real sick, my body gets real uncomfortable, and I basically want to vomit there's just something off about him. I think he's just so far up Trump's ass and this whole White House, you know, I just don't believe him. There's something, I don't know. I'm going crazy right now. I know you're laughing at me. Oh, and by the way, yes, my hair's up. I have a viewer. He's a lovely, lovely person, but he says, when I wear my hair up, I look like Ruth Buzzy. Well, I've been out cleaning the garage, cleaning out the garden, and it's really hot and humid today. So hence my hair is up, and I just didn't feel like trying to fix it up for the video. So, Ruth Buzzy, number one, showing your age, sir. And I'm saying this with loving kindness. But Ruth Buzzy, kind of cute in her own funny way. She was funny, so it's okay. All right, so I tuned in for the last 2-3 days, maybe 2 days, I can't remember. It's like so many days pass so quickly. I keep tuning into Trump and doing it via my intuitive body. This is an intuitive reading. That's the difference between psychic readings. Psychic readings are up here. Intuitive readings are felt, sensations first, and then you get the images. The first time I looked at it, the first time I checked in, I immediately felt my little body got cold. I kind of felt this cold, prickly sensation, and then my heart started beating really fast, and I immediately knew, oh, that must be the steroids, because he is roided up. I can't imagine when I just take over-the-counter Flonase, and I don't take it very often, but a little there and there, I'm like high as a kite and running around all day, and my heart is like skipping beats. I can't imagine being on that level of steroid. Holy shit. Anyway, I could feel it. And what I saw, what came up from the body was, he may be perfectly fine, but something is a working underneath. His doctors may say he's fine. He may appear to be fine, but there's a squeezing in here, and I feel like it's around the heart. It's being squeezed. Now that could be a temporary squeeze based on the steroid use. I don't know. And it was kind of shocking how clearly this happened. I'm feeling this, and I'm asking, what is the truth? And I'm asking, what is the truth about Trump's health? And then just like a little drop of honey, a little bird in the center of my head, I heard dire. That was the clearest receiving of a word I've ever received. It just came in like drop, dire. Okay. So there's a dire situation in the works. Let me see. Then the next day I checked in, and today, and I basically got the same thing, this squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. So something's up. Can't remember what else I want to tell you. Let's just get on with the oracle session. At the moment, is Trump sick with something other than COVID-19? No. And I checked again, does Trump still have, and that was a day and a half ago, does Trump still have an active case of COVID-19? Hot. Yes, yes, yes. Steroids giving him a high. Yes, yes, yes. Hot, hot, hot. Steroids causing him to act irrationally. Hot, hot, hot. What is that song? Hot, hot, hot. Steroids causing him to be slightly delusional. Hot, hot, hot. Yes. Are people having a tough time controlling Trump? And I got warm. And I thought, oh, that's strange. Are people worried about Trump? No. And I thought, oh, this is strange. I must be getting the wrong answers, or something in me is wrong. And then I thought, well, maybe they're not worried because they're just also in love with Trump. And I was speaking about his inner circle, like they're so Trump, they're like under a cult-like spell. And I even asked, I said, are they just under a cult-like spell? They're not worried about him. They think he's the greatest thing ever. So no, they're not under a cult-like spell. And then then I asked, oh, people aren't worried because they no longer care. Hot, hot, hot. Yes. People around Trump are just simply exhausted. No, going in the wrong direction. And then I asked, was there something wrong with that question? Was ego involved? I try to ask that if I get kind of you're going in the wrong direction, but there was nothing wrong with my question. Then I asked, are people just fed up? Yes. Yes, they're just fed up. They don't care anymore. And I said, why are they fed up? Because he doesn't listen. Ding, ding, ding. So they've given up trying to control him. That's what I don't understand. He's out there doing all of this, and nobody, all the Democrats, and they're just going crazy, but they would go crazy anyway. It's like nobody else is saying anything. Like, I just went to a store I frequent, and the person there is a Trump supporter, and like they don't think anything that he's doing is wrong. First of all, they don't believe that there's any virus. They think all the numbers, even if the numbers are faked, there are some people getting sick, no doubt. Okay. And I'm sorry, Trump supporter, you think that his tweets, his non-empathetic tweets about his experience are good? Anyway, okay. So people are fed up. I'm fed up. I finally reached that anger point. Okay, because he doesn't listen. Now I asked, is he likely to have a crash or a crisis soon? And I got warm, yes, like maybe not such a crash or a crisis. Heart attack, warm. And then I asked it this way, a medical setback soon, yes. And maybe, I don't know. I know I'm not the only one seeing this. I see dire stuff for Trump. And if all of us are wrong, I don't know how to explain that. Like, how can all of these readers and psychics and all of us and receive this information so clearly? How can we be wrong if it doesn't happen? I don't understand that. Okay. Let me see some other oracle questions that you might be interested in. Oh, I checked in on Biden. I said, might as well check in on Biden's health and see where he's at. He's kind of had a remarkable turnaround. So I wanted to kind of check in on his health. And what I got was absolutely nothing. Like he's in really good health. He's a little spindly, like an older, thinner man. I could feel his spindliness, if that makes sense. But what I saw, and I was very curious, like from the neck down, totally fine. Up here, I saw him having a lot of electrodes on his head. And I think I heard deep brain stimulation. So they've done something, or in therapy, deep brain stimulation, and I saw him taking some pills. So whatever he's done to stimulate his brain or whatever, it's working. But below the neck, he's totally healthy. I don't know how long this cognitive clarity will last, but I say good job. He's in good health, and that's all I got on him. You know, I try to give Trump supporters, QAnon, everybody, all their perspectives benefit of the doubt. You know, and I even doubt my own perspective, and I think, oh, you know, maybe he is here to do some good and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know where I'm going with this. You're probably going to stop this video anyway and soon, right? Because I'm just rambling. And I asked, is Trump truly a savior? Because I'm so angry. I was wondering, am I just so wrong in my feelings that I'm on the wrong side of this situation? And I heard yes and no. And what I saw was that and even because I was also questioning once again about these spiritual people, even there's one person that I was thinking of who I know, excuse me, who has had a deep awakening, like awakening, not anyway. I was thinking about these spiritual peoples that are Trump supporters, and what I heard was and felt and got the vision of is that they are still at a consciousness level where they're looking outside of themselves. Now they may talk about, you know, going within and trusting and yes, but they haven't reached the consciousness level or beyond consciousness to where, like, no self-awareness is, there's no resistance to the world because everything is Brahman. And this is how I see the world until today. Today I got a little ripped up. I don't know what's up my ass, but I don't know. Maybe there's just anger in the air. Mars is maybe in Pisces in my, I don't know what's going on, but anyway. So when you're looking at life, that everything is Brahman, there's no resistance, and it is what it is. It's all a play. It is what it is. There's no resistance. Then Trump is not your savior because it's all Brahman. It'll all work itself out. And it's all divine. But if you're still at a particular consciousness level, there's still a duality working in you. There's a subject and an object. And if you're resistant to the object, and the object is everything in the world, and you're still fighting against the Illuminati, the dark side, the deep state, and you're having a war with all of that, you're still in duality. And so they are functioning in the belief that something outside of themselves has to come along and fight the demon. Okay, so now I understand that landed as a real clarity, like, oh, okay, I get it. So Trump is savior for some and not a savior for others. It depends on levels of consciousness. Okay. I wanted to ask about Barr, and I don't have any legal questions to ask about Barr. I'm so ignorant about what's going on or the correct questions to ask. I just don't read all the articles. There are some people that are so well versed. Rosie, psychic investigator, I listen to her 3 times a week. That girl is so good, unbelievable. She's like a genius, a little savant genius. If you get a chance, check her out. She does a lot on Patreon. Okay. But I just, whenever I look at Barr, I get the heebie-jeebies. My whole body goes a little wonky like it does with that Dr. Connolly, and I just wanted to know. So I asked, William Barr, is he a shadowy character? Hot, hot, hot. Yes, yes, yes. Would he do anything to protect Trump? No. And that really shocked me. And then I thought, oh, would he do anything to save himself? Hot, hot, hot. Yes. Has Barr done illegal things? Yes. Does he not, like, he's not pursuing, from what I understand, he's not pursuing a lot of cases or prosecuting, I think that's what he does, a lot of cases and people that we're all just thinking, like, what are you waiting for, man? Like all the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, like he didn't go forward with some things and lots of other things, like he's holding back. And I asked, is he not prosecuting people in cases due to his own involvement? Yes. I've understood enough. It's not a hot, 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 but I've understood enough. So he's definitely a shady little character. Let me look here. So I want, today I said, you just have to show me the truth of Trump. Show me the truth of Trump, because I don't understand. And what I saw, let me see here. Now, let me put this into context. About a year ago, I was in meditation and suddenly I was not in my body. I was out. I don't know, even if I was in meditation, I think I was going off to sleep. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anyways, outside of my body, and I got a glimpse of, I suppose it was like my energy body or my etheric body, or anyway, something beyond the physical body. And what I heard and sensed was it was a blue plasma, or blue watery plasma. And what I saw was that it was not well formed, but you could kind of see that there was a body in there. And I wanted to Google watery plasma, and that there is such a thing. But what I got was, it just landed in me that we are all thought forms, and the less thoughts, consistent thoughts and thinking that you have in your field, the less outlined, or what is the word? Dense and manifest you become. So it was showing me that I had more of a wave ocean type look, and that I could see that there was this body there, but that some of my thoughts and emotions were holding me. That when I went into guilt, fear, whatever, a particular line of thinking, that it created form and it held me, and it wasn't fluid anymore. And that really landed tight on me. So I was viewing, and blue, and it had a beautiful blue color to it. So that was reassuring and confirming to me. So when I asked, show me the truth of Trump, what I saw was a similar scene, but his was black. It was like a black goo. His etheric body was almost totally black, except for way in the middle was this little spark of light. And that little spark of light, everybody's got it. Doesn't matter how evil you are, that is your spark of consciousness. That's just enough to keep you in the body. Doesn't mean that you're awake, but it's little spark of light. That's your life force. Okay. But I just saw this like black ink, ink, inky, like ink and water. Just, it was gooey and black. I mean, I guess that said it all to me. Um, and then I wanted to check once again, tell me the truth. Let me feel the truth of Trump's health. And what came to me was I just saw him vomiting all of these pills and like all this stuff. I think he's just being kept, I don't know, he's on so much stuff just coming out. And then I think again, oh, I saw the pills vomiting. And then this vision shocked me because it just came out of the blue. So I don't know if it's metaphorical, but I saw him hanging, just like the hangman. He was in his suit and he was hanging. And it was the way the vision came in, it was unlike other visions. So I don't know if that makes it more credible or less credible, but I saw him hanging. So maybe it was a metaphor. He's the hangman. Don't worry about anything. He's on his way out. So I'm just putting that out there. And then I asked, okay, show me, and I kind of let go of Trump. And then I said, show me the end of Kali Yuga, end of this dark age. What will that look like in the United States? And what I saw was, it was a brilliant scene. And I saw the same revolutionary march all on Washington. I think it was around the Lincoln Steps. All these people had marched, and you could tell that the government had been destroyed, like it was done. Somehow the government had been destroyed. It was no longer the functioning government that we know. All these people were on the steps, and I'm getting chills. And I could see that the people that were marching were actually now coming up. There was a podium and there was a speaker, but the people became like the representatives as well, even though that there was a female speaker as a representative, but it was like all the people were the government or something. And I also saw that the American flag had been taken down and it was replaced with a world, an earth or the world flag. So, I mean, who I saw and there was Kamala Harris, but it could be any woman. Maybe I just projected that on there. But the end of Kali Yuga, which is the end of Trump, I don't know. When will this happen? It's got to be around the elections or as a result of the elections that there's going to, I don't know. I don't know if it's in the near future or not, but so when that happens, if it does, I mean, I actually saw, I'm just now realizing I saw the same scene that Maharishi Yogi had. There would be no government, taken over by the people. So we'll see. Okay. I don't know if we're going to, like I said earlier, in the beginning, I don't know. I don't think that we're going to see human justice for Trump. He's playing his role as the villain perfectly. He's living in totality with the ego He has no remorse, no guilt, doesn't beat himself up. He thinks he's wonderful. And actually, that should be a lesson for all of us spiritual people who we beat ourselves up for not being perfect. Oh, I had an ego reaction. Then we spend a day, worrying that just stop. We're perfect. What I've learned recently is that in my personal life, that even I could see what's happening now more clearly is that, of course, I'm always in awareness. Awareness is always there, and it's always watching this ego. There's no one here, but it's watching this body mind complex function in habitual ways. So, awareness is watching this body mind complex doing its thing. And, I was having some ego reactions and inner actions. And from the awareness's perspective, I could see it was a choiceless awareness. I mean, it was choiceless. It was all happening divinely, and that even ego behavior is orchestrated beautifully, harmonically, because it matched up with this person's shadowy behavior. It was just a perfect little dance. And I wasn't all in the wrong. This person wasn't all in the wrong. It was just the perfect complementary energies that linked. The universe is divine, divinely. It's not even orchestrated, it's just magnetics and complementary energies. You think you have a choice, but until you uh, work on yourself and let go of those images and attachments, you almost have no choice, because it's the ego collective mind that's driving you to do things, and it matches up with this person's, and it's a perfect lesson for both. Okay, I don't know, it just was so divine. The intelligence of the universe, or quantum physics, I don't even know what to call it. So why did I go off on this tangent? So what I'm trying to say is, all you spiritual people out there, to reduce the level of fates and karmic reactions, let go of the guilt. Stop beating yourself up. Let go of the perfectionist's image, the spiritual image. You're not really, there's no choice in anything that you're doing, except when you want to say no to those images. Okay, I'm going off. Sorry. Um, anyway, I crossed over to the dark side. I am now angry and sick of Trump. And sorry to all Trump supporters out there, but of course I still have compassion and I understand, and I'm not a hater at all. But the last 2 days, it's been enough. Okay. All right. Till next time.